But when you're teaching your kids, I would do right down to the very piece of technique until they get it. Don't start
to give them control so they get it to the ground?
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, for the key reason, the ground, that's going to take out the shock.
Okay.
This is becoming the shock absorber for us. This is going to protect them from dropping their arms and everything else. I know not to do that, so I can kind of cheat.
So Shane,
My elbows and everything are up here. You know, I'm kind of past that point. But if I was teaching the kids,
so I was going to say it.
So slamming it down more, yeah.
Kind of a help them so they don't cheat. Instead of delivering the ball right here, deliver the ball more on your shoulder. So that way they're catching the ball and then they can bring it down. Do you understand what I'm trying to ask you about?
I would actually, instead of jamming them up, because if you jam them up,
then they're going to just roll onto it.
Well, they shouldn't even be diving anyways. Right? They don't have to dive. Tell your kids, if you don't have to dive, don't dive. You know, diving is a last resort. It may look cool, but it's a last resort. So don't dive if you don't have to. So really emphasize, you got to give them a ball that they got to get out there.
So still have the ball out.
And they got to come out, and they got to meet. All right. Their hands like this, and then drop in. Okay. And then come up.
Thanks.
So, and then if they start getting it that way, then we elevate up to the knees a little bit. So now we're coming a little bit higher. Drop all the way down. This one, I do come up to the knee, and then kick it back up. Okay, come back up. You get that, all? Okay. So with this one, we're going a little bit slower. That first one, it becomes more of a rhythm, especially once they get it. This one, because we drop it down a little bit more. We'll go from there. Okay. You know what you're sorry. React. It doesn't matter. I always tell keepers, you react. You don't anticipate. Okay. So we're up here, and then on this particular one, since we're starting to get a little bit higher up, and we kind of opened when we were talking about the lateral movement. This is where you start to see that. Now that we're getting really high up in the air. So what that means is if you start to see them catch the ball and then have that arc going up like this to try to grab it, so try to start correcting that right away. Part of that is your serve. You know, if you give them a serve that's a looper, they're going to loop and catch it. See if you can emphasize this by giving them kind of a low driven serve where they have to shoot out to the side and then come down and grab it. Okay, you up to it? Oh yeah.
All right.
Okay. Ace. Okay. So low driven serve. We want to move those balls out of the way. Ready? Set. Here we go. Good. Go ahead and come all the way up and then toss it back. Okay. Ready? Set. Okay. All right. Hold on this next one. Hold on this next one. Ready? Set. Come. Hold. Okay. No, I was stuck. Go ahead. Okay. You will see this. No, you're cheating. Do what you were doing.
He's on his belly. He's on his belly.
Yep.
Right?
Okay. So, going on the belly, the Superman dive. This is going to put your keepers in a prone position for the one. You can't see anything that's coming this way at you. Yeah. Another thing that's going to happen, go ahead and tuck that ball up and underneath your belly. And then land your stomach. Okay. You don't even want to do it because it's so uncomfortable. You don't have to. Yeah, that's exactly it. If they land on the stomach, and I know it's happening, this is your strong side, this is your weak side. So as a coach, I would recognize you're weaker on this side. We may do 4 reps to 1 rep, or 4 reps to 2 reps, or whatever it's going to be, just to emphasize this. But if you have keepers that are landing on their stomach, with or without the ball, again, with your stomach, your natural instinct is to what?
Yeah.
Hands down.
Put your hands down. So then once you put your hands down, now you're talking about jamming up the shoulders, elbows, scapulas, everything else. Plus then you're going to land on the ball, or you're going to land without the ball, not going down again. So try to emphasize that sideways motion when you're doing this. Okay? Good? Good? Aha.
The inside. Yeah.
But now you know what you're doing, so now you can kind of teach it. Ready? That's okay.
Nice save.
Down.
Ready? Set. Aha.
Getting better. He was kind of on this side.
He knows it. Ready? Okay. So now what I would do here, this is where you react. Okay, we're not quite here yet. So now we go back. Go ahead and sit down. You're going to go backwards. We're going to do this one about 5 times. Okay, we don't have to go 5 times. So now we come back up to our knees. So don't be afraid to go backwards. You know, for one, fine on the right side is right, but on the left it wasn't happening. So let's back up one step, go to the seat, because that is easier. It's easier to teach technique on going to the seat and get you familiar with it falling on the left. Okay, try it. Ready?
I was
Getting
noticing
there.
better. Shane, I was noticing when you're doing the seated one, you're closer. That one there, you backed up. Was that on purpose, or was that just?
Yeah, I back up a little bit on this one for the reason being is the service has got to be a little bit more streamlined and neat. Right. So, and they're going a little bit further too, so they need just a hair bit more time. Okay. One. Okay. So that's just, I would say, if you're working with 10s, 11s, 12s, or maybe even, you know, so-so 13s, you stop there. You don't really go much beyond that until they're ready to move on. Until you see that technique good on both sides, on the sitting and the kneeling, I wouldn't really move on to the next phase.